Hi there, my name's Steve Newton. I've just written a book for you called Cancer, What Is It? How do you get cancer? And what is the best cancer treatment? And I'd like to share with you a little bit about how this book came into being. First of all, let me say, I don't have cancer, nor do I ever intend to get cancer. But a good friend of mine was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2000. She underwent 5 years of conventional therapy, during which time she lost her husband, she lost her business, and she was socially alienated by friends and family. And then in 2005, she was diagnosed terminal. At that point, she said, I'd rather die than go through that again. But I don't want to die. I've got too much to live for. So she sought out some alternative treatments. And I'm happy to say that at the time of release of this book, July 2012, she's still going strong. So in order to better understand her situation, I asked myself 3 questions. You guessed it. Cancer, what is it? How do you get cancer? What is the best treatment? And I'd like to share with you a little bit about what I've learned that could save your life or possibly the life of someone you love. I've learned a few interesting things about cancer while researching for my book, Cancer, What Is It? How do you get cancer? And what is the best cancer treatment? It's available at cancerwhatisit.com. Now, I wrote this book to help me. It's the result of the research I did for myself to help me with my cancer prevention planning. But I also wrote it to help you. And that's because I think there's some things that you should know about cancer prevention and cancer treatment that could save your life or that of someone you love. Things that aren't promoted by many conventional medical practitioners. I have to admit that when I first started researching cancer, even before I had the idea to write a book, I was sold on the notion of alternative cancer treatments. Now that's my personal opinion, and that's my personal choice. But that's not what this book is about. What it's about is getting a second opinion if you or someone close to you has been diagnosed with cancer. What it's about is making you a bit more aware of what's out there beyond what your doctor may prescribe so that you can make the best informed decision that's right for you. Cancer treatments generally fall under the category of either conventional or alternative treatments. These are fairly broad categories, that's for sure. This short video is intended to give you a little bit of insight for consideration about alternative treatments. Now, if you're any sort of conspiracy theorist, you may buy into that notion that Big Pharma, the government, and the universities are all in cahoots to keep the cancer industry alive. Given that it's worth many hundreds of billions of dollars a year globally, that's an easy thing to believe. In fact, at the very foundation of much of the work being done in the alternative cancer world is the belief that these conspirators are working together to prevent a cure for cancer ever being made available. But there are many, many, many people on this planet who believe that there is a cure for cancer and that it has been known for a very long time. Now, I can't tell you there's a cure for cancer because that would be illegal in many of the Western countries. But I can tell you that I've personally seen and felt tumors reduce in size over time on someone who has chosen an alternative treatment path, mostly based in nutrition and a balanced approach to physical, mental, and spiritual wellness. There are many people who believe that, in general, a cure can be found in several natural food sources. And the majority of these alternative treatments have some basis in diet and nutrition. So let's explore that for a moment. Let's go back to the pre-industrial era where there wasn't really any industrial processes emitting waste byproducts into the environment. There were no large industrial complexes spewing pollution into the environment. There was no synthetic or synthesized chemicals used to make things from household cleaners to clothing. There was no fertilizers, fungicides, herbicides, insecticides, or other chemical source additions that enhanced agricultural farming practices. Instead, over many thousands of years, our body, and in particular its immune system, evolved on a simple natural source diet of nuts, plants, berries, vegetables, fruits, wild meats, seafood, those sorts of things. After the industrial age started to gain some steam, so to speak, cancer started to become more prevalent. So many of the alternative cancer treatments have some basis in the natural sourced and organic foods. At the end of the day, I can't tell you that any one thing in the alternative cancer world is any better than the next. But I will say that I personally believe that somewhere in the alternative cancer treatment world, there's some combination of things that will do you no harm. And I can also tell you that I have no intention of ever having to endure conventional treatments as they exist now. The alternative cancer treatment section in my book is quite interesting, and I've categorized many dozens of treatments into one of the following: nutritional, herbal and traditional remedies, technology, and psychology. So the best advice I can give you is get a second opinion. Become more informed so that you can make the best decision that's right for you. I've written a book to help you understand what cancer is. I've written a book to help save you time and work in your research. My book, Cancer, What Is It? How Do You Get Cancer? And What is the Best Cancer Treatment? Is a practical guide to several things that you may want to consider in your research. For about the same price as a fast food meal, which ironically may contribute to causing cancer, you get practical information on what cancer is and how the body deals with it, how to prevent cancer using things that are within your control, the pros and cons of conventional and alternative cancer treatments, the importance of detoxification and nutrition in fighting and preventing cancer, some tips around cancer survivorship and living with the cancer patient, and I have first-hand experience with that. Some information on end-of-life planning. I also have first-hand experience with that. As well, there's a useful list of web resources that you can use to start your own research at the end of the book. So what if just one thing in this book leads you to discover something that could save your life or the life of someone you love? What if just one thing in this book leads you to living a full, happy life free of cancer? Consider the alternative. Take control of your life now. My book, Cancer, What Is It? How Do You Get Cancer? And What is the Best Cancer Treatment? Is available at cancerwhatisit.com. Thank you.